Hey guys, Rob Hyder here. Hey, this is one of the biggest tools for net worth growth in the industry. Some of the top players use it. We were introduced to it a handful of years back. I still use it today. Some of the biggest folks out in the market are doing the exact same thing. And I'm gonna try and break it down to you guys step by step. It doesn't have to be super complicated. Ideally, you can just do it on like a simple spreadsheet. I'm gonna throw it up here on my whiteboard real fast and try and make it as simple as possible. Don't take it for exact figures, but this is the overall breakdown of how it would look, right? So if you say, hey, guess what? Year one today, your net worth is, say, $500,000, right? You've got some cash, stock, crypto, and a small real estate portfolio. Say net worth of your equity position in your real estate portfolio, $250,000 as of right now, total of $500,000. You simply make a chart of the assets that you currently have, and you can look at it on the real estate perspective, kind of the equity position, right? So the value less the debt amount equals the equity position. You want to put the years across the top, the amount of years you're looking out. So in this instance, we're saying, okay, the current net worth is $500,000, and you say, I want to have a net worth of $5 million within the next 10 years. You can accelerate that as much as you want, or you can be as conservative as much as you want, but you can set your financial goals out this way and then just look at it year after year and really kind of see the compound. The biggest piece here is that it starts to make sense on what steps you have to do in order to get that net worth where you want it to be. And it just simplifies not what you have to do in like some huge audacious goal, but it's really what do you have to do in the next 12 months? What do you need to do in the next 24 months? What kind of pipeline do you need to be looking at to start adding to your portfolio in whatever asset class you're looking at, whether it be real estate purchasing, residential, commercial, note purchasing, whether you're trying to make more money and drop it into stocks and crypto, whatever it might be. But I'm just kind of showing you how you would evaluate that and how you would kind of schedule it out so you can start putting your goals out and your net worth growth and making it attainable. In this instance, just basic model, throwing it up here. I'm assuming about an 8% growth rate. So in the very basic model, cash, stock, crypto, that's gonna go up and down over the years, but roughly over the next 10 years, 8% growth. So if it was $100,000 in year one, 8% growth, 10 years, it almost doubles. So I've got that over there on that side. The real variable is whatever your asset type is. In this instance, we're talking about real estate. It's how much do you need to be adding to the portfolio in order to get to that goal on a net worth basis. In this instance, okay, you're starting year one with $250,000 in equity in an asset. So it's like, okay, well, what if you add another asset in year two? Let's call that a 10-family apartment building. You buy it, clean it up a little bit, raise rents. Okay, cool. Within that process, you've done that, and now you've created another $250,000 in your equity position in that property by adding value to it. All right. So it's not super audacious to do one more project. Or in this instance, it might be a couple of 4 families where you can get that amount of equity growth in the asset. Okay, then you go to year 3. What's it look like? All right, well, anytime that you start seeing that level of growth, if you've already done a few, you do a few more, it's easy to kind of scale that up a little bit and look at more deals. You got your team in place, you've got ability to get financing, you kind of have the ability to kind of grow that. So you say, okay, well, I'm gonna do a little bit more in year 3. Okay, so you kind of just build that out along the way. In this instance, we've got one additional $250,000 bump in year 2. In year 3, you got 2 additional bumps, $250,000 in growth across those assets, kind of bringing that portfolio up. What I'm not showing you here is the percentage growth. I'm pulling it all over to year 10. Because if you've got a $250,000 asset in year 1, at an 8% growth rate, it almost doubles in equity position, but you're also paying down debt. So during that time, you're getting an appreciation plus debt pay down, so you're expanding the equity growth of that asset. So you kind of just come along the other side and you say, all right, well, in the whole scheme of things, over the next 10 years, I really don't have to add that many assets in order to get to that level. I just need to know what that trajectory looks like, and you can really start placing those pieces in there. And anyone that's in real estate really knows, sometimes you have a slow year where you're not quite getting that equity growth up at the same pace that you might otherwise like. And then some years you have big pops where, you might buy a 25 unit apartment building, get it all cleaned up, and then you recognize $1 million in equity growth on that project over the next 18 months or so. So that kind of shows this plan out over that term, and it all starts kind of making sense. And you know, okay, well, if I add 2 assets a year over this term at some level of percentage of equity growth and the debt pay down associated with that, you can really start to hone in on exactly what your goal is. And over 10 years, it makes sense. But then when you really look at it and you expand it out over 20 years, 30 years, you really can get a real good idea of what amount of growth you can really get to. And you can really start making sense of how you can get to a big net worth over a period of time if you kind of keep track on the investment schedule that you're looking at without it being too crazy and over the top. So I've used this model and I've been able to grow my personal investment portfolio and net worth exponentially as a result. And I can really track the growth and kind of where I want it to be. If you have any questions about the specifics of this or you want to see it in more detail, drop it in the comments. I'm happy to go over it in more detail in a separate video.